got it right this morning, but in the wrong way. Anyway, there I am. Now I'm live on the screen, and you'll see me. Hey, this is an impromptu Boogie with the Bull. And we're live on the David Goldwyn profile, and we're live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. You're welcome to join me in the live chat. I haven't decided whether or not other people will join me on the broadcast today. I just want to say a few things. I'm not going to call anybody stupid. I'm not going to say anybody is stupid, but Facebook decided that because they are running out of storage space, and it's very expensive to buy the storage space they need, that every 30 days they're going to delete the last thing in your amount of storage that they give you so that you have room to store the next thing that you do. Actually, the oldest thing, so that you have room to store the next thing. You only get so much space. They notified you that they were going to do this. They notified you when they were going to do this. If you didn't make a copy of anything you had sitting here on Facebook, you lost it. Plain and simple. If you use live streaming software like I do, it's stored there for a while. After a while, they just don't record any more new stuff until you remove old stuff and make room. That's how it works. Why? Because they would have to go spend a lot of money. They would have to up your rate. And they don't want to do that. So continue doing whatever you do. You just have to figure out a way to store it if you want to store it. Right now, we send it over to YouTube. And we let Google worry about it. And when Google is out of space to store it on YouTube, then it's something we're going to have to deal with. There's shows on YouTube that go back to 4 years ago when we started. There's shows on Facebook that seem to be hiding that go back to when we started. I don't know. It just seems to be a game. And the game is that, they can't afford to store it on Facebook. So if you want to save it, you need to save it. I save it on YouTube. When YouTube tells me they can't store anymore, then we'll lose it. They won't be on YouTube anymore. They'll be on Restream until Restream tells me they can't store anymore. And then it's my decision to save them from Restream or lose them if I want more recorded. I personally don't save them because I don't see any reason to. I don't go back and look at them, and other people really don't need to go back and look at them either. They just need to watch the most recent one and see where I am before the next one. We're on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, so adjust yourself accordingly. And we're on 7 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, so adjust yourself accordingly. And that's where we are. Sometimes we have a topic, and we start with the topic, and we go from there, and sometimes we don't. That's how I learned how to do this, California has done something that I think is pretty stupid. They made themselves the internet police anytime, anywhere, any place. If they don't like something that you do, they can ask Facebook to change your algorithm so that you're not on in California anymore. I really decided how I feel about that. You know, I'll lose the state of California because Facebook or Meta, who owns Facebook, makes more than $100 million a year. And that's what the bill says. They will go after companies that make more than $100 million a year and ask them to do whatever they have to do to make sure you're not on in California anymore. Hey, if they don't want me on in California anymore, I hope one of them who is responsible and able to explain this to me will come on to a Boogie with the Bull broadcast and tell me why they feel they need to do this. Are they mad at me about something that I did? Are they mad at me about something that I do? Because almost on every Boogie with the Bull broadcast, I end them by saying, hey, if you liked the broadcast, give it a thumbs up and tell me why. And then tell your friends, because they might like it. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down and comment why you didn't like it. Tell me why. And tell your friends. Because if you didn't like it, odds are they're not going to like it. And they'll come and tell me. You'll come and tell me. If you liked it, like I said, maybe you'll come and tell me. You know, that's how it works. You know, I don't get paid for what I do. I don't want to get paid for what I do. I find time in the day to do what I can do whenever I can do it. Why? Because I'm an addict. I like doing this. You know, I really do like doing this. I wanted to do internet radio, but I like this better. It's live radio. People can see me and they can watch and they can listen. And if they don't like it, they can tell me. And if they do like it, they can tell me that too. If they're having a bad day, they can come into the live chat and tell me they're having a bad day. And I can do my best to help them. If I'm having a bad day, they can come into my live chat and help me. It's that simple, okay? I don't care if California doesn't like what I say about Democrats in California. I don't care if California thinks they can come on to the internet and change what I do in a situation that doesn't involve California.
Yep.
Really, I don't.
What?
And if California is not happy, then hey, flip the switch on Facebook California and don't allow me to be on anymore. Because when I started in college radio, I used to say, if you don't like me, turn the dial to the left. There's a couple of stations that you might catch before, or turn the dial to the right and work your way toward the commercial band, and you might find somebody that you like, or you might decide to come back to me. It's that simple. I'm on because I think there's things I need to tell you. I don't like Senate Bill, or whatever the SB stands for, SB 771 out of California. I think the Democrats ramrodded it through when we weren't paying attention. Nobody was paying attention. And it made them the internet police. I don't like that. Why? Because we own the internet. The internet is ours. We decide what is allowed and what isn't allowed on the internet. And then we give it to the FCC and say, hey, this should not be allowed on the internet. Then we have a bunch of companies that use the internet. They don't pay to use it, and they want to tell me what is allowed and what isn't allowed on the internet. And even that's wrong. Okay? But I understand. If I do something Facebook doesn't like, if I do something YouTube doesn't like, they have a right to tell me that I did something wrong because I used Facebook and I used YouTube when I did it. But hey, if Doofus Internet loves what I did, they have a right to tell me that I did something great. So my response to this whole thing is that because SB 771 says they will go after internet companies that gross more than $100 million a year to enforce what they want to enforce. It doesn't say anything about going after internet companies that make $100 million or less. Doesn't even say that they can't ban you in, doesn't say that they can beam you into California if you make $100 million or less, because I make $100 million or less. And I'm on the internet, and I guess you could consider me an internet company, and I could continue sending Boogie with the Bull to California because I'm not breaking the law. The law says you have to make $100 million or more, and I don't make $100 million until they change the law. Until they change the law, and it says whether you make $100 million or more or $100 million or less, you can't send certain things into the internet. And when they say that, we'll have to change the algorithms to make sure California doesn't get me. But if somebody in California figures out a way to get me, that's not on me, that's on them. So charge the $500,000 or $1 million to them, not to me. I'm on the Facebook Global Network. I'm on the YouTube Global Network. Why? Because two networks that give anybody in the world the chance to see me. That's what I wanted. Okay? I'm not a stupid kid who doesn't know the internet. I'm not a stupid kid that says, oh, I'm going to put it on TikTok and hope people watch me. Okay? I'm a 63-year-old man who dropped out of college a few credits ahead of my associate's degree in radio broadcasting and film. Because someone said to me, you don't need it. You found the job that you wanted, working in a real professional radio station, so be happy. And I believed him. And that's what I decided to do. But I'm a 63-year-old guy who reads laws and has a comment on whether or not I think it's a good law or I think it's a bad law. SB 771 in California is a bad law. Why? Because if it works in California and does what the Democrat majority wants it to do, then every other blue state will probably do the same thing. But if every other blue state does the same thing and censors you in all of their blue states, there could be red states that do the same thing and ban you in red states. That's censorship. I don't want to be censored. Why? Because our founding fathers gave me the right of free speech on the internet. California might not like what I say about them, but you know what? If Gavin Newsom came on and talked about me on the internet and said he didn't like me because he didn't like the broadcast that I did, too bad. Plus, it would probably attract attention to my broadcast because everybody would want to tune in from now on and want to know why Gavin Newsom is talking about me. Because again, I'm a 63-year-old guy with Lewy body dementia, which everybody tells me can be cured with a pill or this or that. And I got Parkinson's, and everybody tells me that could be cured with a pill for this or for that. And you know what? I'm a 63-year-old guy who's a chicken to try that stuff and see if it works. Why? Because I told the psychologist about me and my bipolar disorder. I don't know if I'd want to take it. I don't know if God came to me and said, you could take this pill and you wouldn't be bipolar anymore. Because this was years before people told me that I have Lewy body dementia and I have Parkinson's. I was only dealing with maintaining my life of being bipolar, and said that I don't know if I'd want to take the pill because I'd be normal again. And I've never been normal. At that time, I was 46, and I've never been normal. So I don't know if I would like being normal. It's kind of like Jesse Ventura going off to war and being allowed to do whatever he wanted to do in the military. You know, he and his friends could drink, he and his friends could smoke, they could cuss, they could do whatever they wanted. Then after they saved the world and they came back to the United States, he went into his commanding officer's office and said, you know what? I can't do any of that stuff here. So send me back. Find a place and send me away so I can do it. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. Change the freaking laws. Okay? If an 18-year-old can smoke and drink because they do it anyway, then they should be allowed to smoke and drink. And if they're allowed to smoke and drink, you can't tell me that they are not old enough to vote. Period. And don't tell me you're going to change it to 21 because then you're an adult and you can decide whether or not you smoke or drink. Because if you're 18 years old, you can decide whether or not you smoke or drink. I did. For me, I didn't smoke because I don't remember how old I was, but on my, I think it was junior high, it might have been high school, but one of those two, senior field trip, I took a drag off a cigarette and I had such a bad asthma attack that I decided, smoking for me wasn't the right thing. And I don't have bangs because a family member, and I won't identify them, the first time I smoked a bong, lit my bangs on fire. And they never grew back. But that's not why I don't have bangs. I don't have bangs because I decided to cut my hair, have my hair cut one day. And the barber said to me, you will not like it. You know, and I told her to cut it anyway. And they never grew back. And that's okay. Because hair is only something that covers your head to keep it warm. And if you put a hat on, you can keep your head warm. And hair might grow back. I don't know. I don't really care. My father didn't have hair on the top of his head. I don't think his father had hair on the top of his head. And my other grandfather, my mother's father, I think did have hair on the top of his head. But, I keep rambling this morning. But the bottom line is, if you don't like what I say on the internet, change the channel. Go somewhere else. Even if California government is trying to protect you, if you don't like what I do, go somewhere else. Or try to get me to change to your whatever you like. You probably won't. Be an individual. Stand up for what you believe is right and what you believe is wrong. That's what I do. Maybe you get to that point when you have dementia, or they tell you that you have dementia, because you run around proving to everybody that either you do have dementia or you don't. Because some of my best friends that do this say, you don't have dementia because we see you do what you do. And some other people say, your ideas clearly prove that you have dementia. Don't want to hear it. You know, there are many steps of dementia, the way I understand it. In some people, it moves very fast, and in some people, it moves very slow. The book says 5 to 7 years, and I've been, I guess, on the scale for 4 or 5 years. So you'll see whether or not I'm not here anymore. But you'll also see that I'm not here anymore because I owe Restream money, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to do this for free because of that. I spilled coffee all over my Windows 11 Pro keyboard while it was turned on, and I did it 3 times in a row because I have Parkinson's, or I don't have Parkinson's, but it doesn't matter because I spilled it all over my brand new laptop that I saved my entire life for. And I joke around every once in a while, I wish people would help me so I could buy a new laptop. But you know what? I don't. I really don't. If you don't help me, I don't care. I have enough computer equipment on my desk that allows me to get on the internet, and I have a phone that allows me to get on the internet. I guess I will be happy if I don't do another show again, if that happens. But all that will happen is that I'll lose paid Restream for free Restream, which I think will limit the number of guests that can do it with me and the number of destinations that I will be on, if that happens. So I may not be able to be on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I may have to do YouTube or Facebook separately. I probably will. And if I don't have an audience on Facebook and I have an audience on YouTube, then that may be where I have to go. And if I have an audience on Facebook and I don't have an audience on YouTube, that may be where I have to go. But I don't know. I don't care. Like I said, I'm 63 years old. I'm a retired broadcaster. And I'll figure out a way to make it work. Why? Because I want to figure out a way to make it work. I don't care if Facebook can turn on a switch on algorithms and I'm not where I want to be. I'll go somewhere. I'll go to a social media network if I have to that doesn't turn off states or countries, that allows me to be wherever they allow me to be. That's just the rules of the game. As far as being deleted every 30 days so that I free up more space, I'll either accept that and go buy enough storage equipment so that on my end, or try to save for enough storage equipment that I can save everything I've ever done. But I'll probably spill coffee all over that one too and lose that. Or it'll go to the cloud, and one day Amazon or Facebook or Microsoft or whoever owns whatever cloud I can get will tell me, now you have to pay us because you've exceeded the amount of space that you're allowed to have. I've proven to everybody that internet companies can do whatever they want to do with you, and you can't do a damn thing about it. You have to find what you want, where you want. If I could, I'd be my own internet company, licensed to do what I do. Why? Because we allowed Facebook, because that's what they were at the time, Facebook, to come onto the internet and do whatever they wanted to do for free. Abuse us, abuse themselves. There's a dark side of Facebook that you don't ever want to see. I saw it by mistake one day. It shouldn't be there, but it is. There's a good side of Facebook, but you don't control it. They do. Why? They don't pay to use the internet. We own the internet. They don't. If a radio or TV station did it, they would lose their license or get in other trouble, get fined by the FCC. So if the FCC wants to control airwaves, why don't they control the internet and make rules for the internet, which they do? And then if a social media network doesn't follow those rules, kick them off until they do. That's the answer. Why? Because we, you and I, own the internet in the United States of America. It's that simple. We own it in California, and we own it in all the other 49 states. It's a federal law. And the way I understand it is that a state law cannot supersede a federal law. So if California says, no, we don't want Dave on the internet in California anymore, Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, who I think has regulatory authority of the internet right now, because he's the chairman of the FCC, can say, bite me. I'll do what is in the best interest of the American people everywhere, which means Dave stays exactly where he is. Why? Because if you don't like Dave, you can turn the dial to the right, you can turn the dial to the left, you can close the lid and turn the damn thing off. It's that simple. William Lockett is watching this morning. He's not in one of the live chats, so I won't pick on William. And I don't really pick on people. I always have fun with people when they are in my live chats because I want to have fun with them, and I hope they have fun with me. So William Lockett is watching this morning. No one else had the nerve to watch this morning, I guess, or they're working and they can't watch it, or they just weren't available to watch it, and maybe they'll watch it when they see that it was on. Plus, it's my fault, really, because I didn't tell anybody that I was going to do it this morning. I just decided to do it. Oh, William's here. He's in the live chat. He's doing laundry. He's folding laundry this morning, and he's listening to me. He's listening to your greatness. Well, I'm not great. I'm just a simple guy who's stupid. Just like I told a bunch of people the other night that I had to hug my head so I could squeeze out some things that were really bothering me out of my head so that I could go to sleep. Now, if that doesn't sound like a guy that has dementia, you tell me. I had to squeeze my head to try to get some bad thoughts out of my head because I don't have those bad thoughts. I really don't. It's like I finally said on the broadcast yesterday. If you want to be on this broadcast, don't give an excuse that you don't know why. Because I say every broadcast, if you want to be on this broadcast, all you have to do is come on the broadcast before it ends. If you really want to be, you can. I have done broadcasts before in my radio career where the other person absolutely hated me and I absolutely hated them. But at the end of the broadcast, they took all of their hate out of my green room and went on with life, went on with hating me. But you couldn't tell from the broadcast that they hated me because we were too important, we were too involved in doing the broadcast. That's what needs to be done. Not that one person hates another person or one person watches because they want to see if I hate them. I don't hate anybody. It's obvious. And if in my segment of listing where you should watch, you watch and see that I don't hate people. I don't. I tell you to go watch people. Why? Because they have knowledge that I don't. They have knowledge on everything. From how to fix a car, to how to fix stuff around your house, your yard, your equipment that takes care of that. Music, which I wish I had because I trained in how to have music knowledge, but I don't, or I don't remember what I know. I have a meme that says Dave knows everything. And if he doesn't, he makes stuff up fast. It was for another Dave, but I stole it because I saw it. And to a point, it's kind of true about me. If I don't know it, a lot of times I'll say something about it, and then I'll go off at the end of the broadcast, and I'll find out what I don't know, so that on the next broadcast, I know it. Not because I want to know everything, but because I want to know everything about everything. JCPenney trained me as a floater, a person that knows enough about every single department in the store so they can send you to where they need you that day. Same principle. I want to know enough to give enough, and then I'll go find out. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I was wrong. So again, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate that you might come here and correct me. I don't hate that you'll come here and tell me I was right. I took time to read SB 771, or parts of it. I didn't read the whole thing, in California, and I didn't like what I read. Why? Because Facebook can be signed, or can be, because they make more than $100 million a year. They could be fined $500,000 to $1 million per time if I end up being broadcast in California. And I don't think that's right. I don't want them to do that. Why? Because if they lose money on me, I'm going to get fired. It's what that nice judge said when she was signing autographs and taking pictures. If your TV show loses money, you get fired. Now I'm going to start calling it the Kimmel Law. But he didn't get fired. He got suspended. He got suspended indefinitely, which I thought was going to be a long time, not a week. But I'm mad at Sinclair, not St. Clair. I'm mad at Sinclair, and I'm mad at Nexstar because they made it sound like 400 stations between the two of them were not going to air him, and only 70 stations didn't air him. But when I looked at a map of the 70 stations, he wasn't aired in a lot of major markets. So, that pretty much does the same thing. But every single Sinclair and every single Nexstar and every single Tegna who's buying Nexstar and every other ABC affiliated station had the right to say, we're not going to broadcast him. And God damn it, you should not have broadcasted him. And ABC would have lost a shitload of money, and ABC would have let him go. I'm not mad because of what he said. Okay? Freedom of speech. You can say anything you want. You can go into a theater and yell fire if that's what you want to do, but there are consequences for doing it. So you can go onto your broadcast, I can go on my broadcast and say anything I want, but there are consequences. People are going to turn the dial to the right or to the left, or they're going to say, hey, you said something we didn't like. Jimmy Kimmel said something that I didn't like. I didn't even listen to it. I didn't even hear it. I just read as many descriptions of what he said. I didn't like what he said, period. Because people were mourning the death, the assassination, the murder, the killing, whatever you want to call it, of someone else. And he had the nerve to stand in front of the cameras and make sure his mic was on and said whatever it was he said while we were mourning the death of someone. You don't do that. I want to think that conservative patriots, or what you call Republicans, don't do that. Maybe we do, but I don't want to know if we do. Humans, I think, don't do that. You understand that the other side is hurting, and you just call it off until they're not hurting. And for me, it's a year. Because Jews believe that you don't settle in to heaven. It takes a year to settle in. That's why they don't put a grave marker, tombstone, whatever you want to call it, down on your grave for a year. Too much bullshit in the world. Too much fucking bullshit in the world. And they'll probably kick me off of Facebook because I said the word fucking. So I hope I didn't anger anybody for saying the word fucking. I can go into another tangent on why I said it, but if you don't like what I say, don't watch. Or watch because you don't like what I say, and I give you a reason to go on the internet and say why you didn't like me. I gave you that reason, that excuse. I told you you have that excuse. I didn't have to tell you that. But Gavin Newsom and the majority Democrats in California took that right away from me. They can go on the internet anywhere, anytime, and say anything they want. But I can't respond because they don't like it. That's not how the United States of America works. And I am slipping my tongue this morning. And I don't know if it's because of Parkinson's. I think it's because of my seriously bad teeth, but we can talk about them in another broadcast. Maybe it's both. I don't know. And I do my best to do what I do because I like what I do. And some days I can do it, and some days I can't because I get myself so frazzled about pleasing everybody. Because I want to please everybody. And the reality is, you can't. So if I don't please you, I would prefer that you don't watch. Why? Because I spend too much time trying to please you. I'm an everybody page on Facebook. That means anybody who logs into Facebook can see me. We have a group, the World Against Government. I forget what it's called, but it basically amounts to the World Against Government Overreach. It's the same thing. I tell you why you might not like me and hope that you'll come and tell me that's why you don't like me. And you'd like me if I did this. But if you don't like me and you're not going to like me, I would prefer you don't watch. Really. I don't care if it's 500,000 people on Facebook and on YouTube. And however otherwise Restream puts me on the internet. I don't care. If you don't like me, really, what I should say is don't watch. Out of sight, out of mind. Or tell me and I'll block you so you don't see it. Not because I don't like you, but I don't want you to spend time seeing something you don't like. Really. It's that simple. I get up every morning that there's a Boogie with the Bull planned, whether it's 10 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 7 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday. And I spend too much time worrying about what I want to say because some people aren't on the broadcast anymore. Or because, as I heard the other day, and I won't name names, and we're not going to name names, someone made a comment that they were watching me to see if I treat them, and there were more of them, the same way they treat me. And the answer was, I don't. Why? Because I don't want to waste time on the fact that you might not like me. As she said yesterday, come on my show, be a part of my show, and see that I don't not like you. I like you. I wouldn't have invited you on Tuesdays and Thursdays if I didn't like you. So come on anytime you see I'm on and see that I like you. The damn show is too important to me to worry about. You watch to see if I say something bad about you. The bad thing I'm going to say is, that's what you do. Why not be part of the fun of the broadcast? Everyone. And if you think I unfriended you because I was mad at you, I probably was mad at you. And that's why I unfriended you. But you could still see me. Because again, I'm an everything page. Everything profile, I mean. And Boogie with the Bull page. And Boogie with the Bull Uncensored group are everything. Everybody on Facebook can see them. Because I wanted everybody on Facebook to be able to see them. Because I post the broadcast on Boogie with the Bull page. usually. I didn't post it today. I'll post it afterwards. Well, I didn't post it on the page because I really want to close the page. But in order to close the page, you have to eliminate every member. And I have like 1,500 members, and I don't care if they're not active anymore. But I don't want to waste my time eliminating 1,500 people, whether or not they like me or not, because it will take forever. And I like spending more time on Facebook talking to people and posting than I do having to eliminate 1,500 people, whether they do, don't, or just don't use it anymore. The page was how I started on Facebook. They made a change that I don't like. I will tangent. They made a change that I don't like. In order for you to make a comment on a broadcast on a Facebook page, you have to buy stars if you want the person doing the broadcast to see you. I don't want you to have to buy stars. That's why I don't broadcast on the page anymore. If you have something to say, I want to hear it. Whether it's good for me, bad for me, I don't give a damn. I want to hear it. You should be free to say it. That's why I bugged William this morning, because he was watching and he wasn't in the live chat. It's more fun to talk to a person that's actually there. Because like I said, maybe you're in a bad mood for the day and I can talk you out of that. Maybe you're in a good mood for the day and I'm in a bad mood and you can talk me out of that. Guests on the panel, guests on the broadcast, yeah, you are important. You have something to say, and that's why I invite you to be here. I generally send the link to one person and have that person send the links out. Not because they control who gets on and who doesn't. There's a bug with Restream that one day it works for everybody except that one person. It always works for that one person. So I use that one person to send the link on to make sure that everybody wants to get on, whether or not you have good things to say or bad things to say. Barry Nolan was a big shot in Democrat politics at the time in Massachusetts. Came on, and all he did was yell and scream to the point where someone else on the broadcast said, Dave, you really need to turn him off. And finally, that's what I did. Because he was yelling, the guy, Barry Nolan, was yelling over everybody. He was yelling to speak, and then he was yelling when other people responded. It was important to hear what he had to say, but he just wasn't being respectful of everybody. I can do 28 rows without a microphone. Why? Because that's the skill I learned in high school drama class. And the problem was they didn't teach me how to turn it down. But if I can't do it on Facebook, and I can't do it on YouTube if that happens, because they both turn me off, I guess I got to find someone to drive me everywhere and give me a chance to say it to 28 rows. Because I want to find people that agree with me. I want to find people that disagree with me. I want to do what Charlie Kirk did, because Charlie Kirk taught me it's time to do it. I'm not out to embarrass you if you're a Republican or if you're an independent or tell you you should be a Republican, not what you are. I want to hear what you are and hear what you have to say, but I'm not out to tell you that you're wrong. And Charlie wasn't really out there to do that, but maybe he was. But that's not me. Okay? I want to sit, I want to, and, I want to walk around the stage because I hate sitting down, really. I really do. I wish I could be up walking around. I wish I could be in the group of people and just start a conversation. What do we need to do? I say all the time, why can't we break bread while we discuss what we agree on and what we disagree on? And then know we have to work on what we disagree on. And as far as I am concerned, Vladimir Putin is not entitled to take away from Ukraine what he wants to take away from Ukraine in order to give them peace. I am sorry. That's just me. Maybe you think he is. Hamas sending a letter to President Trump that said, hey, we will release half of the terrorists if you start helping us. Half of the I don't know what you call them, the prisoners that we have. We will release half the people while we work with you. And then that gave me the impression that if we are able to work something out, we will release the rest of them. But other people said, no, they have to release the whole thing. Life doesn't work that way. You can think all you want that life does. And because the President of the United States says you have to do this, that you have to. If you want him to do something, if you want him to work with Hamas, he's got to agree to work with them. And maybe he can flip a deal that gets them to release everybody and become good people or whatever people you want them to be. But the art of the deal, as far as I'm concerned, is finding the one thing that I want and the one thing that you want and making sure we agree to disagree and move forward and make it work. War, to me, as I say, is an outdated faction. It just doesn't work. One country goes and bombs the hell out of the other country. The other country goes and bombs the hell out of the other country. Then they ask Donald Trump, the President of the United States, to intervene, negotiate a ceasefire. Both sides agree to the ceasefire. The United States agrees to the ceasefire. And then one country bombs the hell out of the other one. And the other one bombs the hell out of the other one. And they start bombing the hell out of each other one again. Nobody's listening to President Trump, whether you agree with him or you don't. No one is listening to President Trump. 5,000 people are dying on each side every day, week, month, year, I don't know. But 5,000 people are dying on both sides. That's 10,000 people. If you want that to stop, you do what you need to do to make it stop. If I have something you want, you don't take it away from me. You work with me to see how you can get what you need. But you can't take it away from the rest of the world because they buy from me what they need. That's how it works. If you want this computer, tell me you need this computer. I'll probably give it to you because that's just the way I am. But don't start messaging me and tell me that you want that. You want this tablet because I'm not going to give it to you. But that's my point, is that I'm the kind of person that will give you the shirt off my back if you tell me you need the shirt off my back. Why? Because I got another one. But I want you to be happy. So I will. I'll take this shirt off, I'll give it to you, and I'll go put on another one that I have. Or I'll go without a shirt because it makes you happy. I want you to be happy because if you're happy with me, I'm happy with you, and we both get what we want. No war. And if I've got minerals that you need, you get what I can give you. And I get money or something. And I'm happy. That's what it is. That's what it's all about to me. I've been on for almost an hour. So rather than repeating myself all the time, which is a dementia issue, because you don't remember that you said this to somebody or you said that to somebody. So I'm either going to end or someone's going to come in here and tell me that this needs to continue and give me a reason why it needs to continue. I don't usually like to go more than an hour because I don't think people have more than an hour to sit and listen to me. And if I'm repeating and it's really only 30 minutes, you don't need to listen to me repeat. And really, you don't need to listen to me repeat because it's not working. They both hate each other. They both want their countries returned to how they were before, and they want this whole thing to go away. And for 20 years, that doesn't appear to be what they wanted. Because if they did really want that, it would have happened. If Russia hadn't beaten the snot out of them in the first year, there's really no reason for this to go on for 20 years. Why? Because Russia's a big country and they got a big army and big war apparatus and they can do whatever the hell they want. And Ukraine is a small country and they got to get whatever war apparatus they want so they can save themselves. And if all these countries around the world don't help them or don't sell them what they need or give them money so they can buy what they need, to me, that's even ridiculous. Look at the Biden administration. They gave them money so they could buy what they needed from the United States. Did we keep the war going on? Of course we did, if you listen to it that way. Because the defense industrial complex only makes money if they sell war. I'm sorry. I probably lost my broadcast right then and there because I just said something bad about the United States. We only make money when we sell war. Because the defense industrial complex is located in the United States. We only make money. They only make money if they sell war. And if they sell it to you, they're going to go and sell it to your enemy. They don't care. That's That's why this thing has gone on for 20 years. Because the world, not just the United States, the world has made sure that there's a war there. Because the world needs to sell war to both sides. Stop selling war to them. And they're either going to have to find the means to continue it or just throw their hands up in the air and look at each other and go, can't afford to do this anymore. Don't want to do it anymore. Maybe Jimmy Carter was right. I don't know. The neutron bomb, it was supposed to save everything except the people. That's a perverted idea. Because that's not really what war is about. I'm supposed to destroy all your people. You're supposed to destroy all of my people. If you don't, in the process, they have a place to live. So why can't everybody just break bread and discuss what they agree about and make sure that's clear, what they agree about, and then what they don't agree about, make sure that's clear, and start to work on that. If you don't like me, watch my broadcast every day and tell me why. If I say something you don't agree with, tell me you don't agree with it. Come on to the broadcast and tell me you don't agree with it. I want to hear what you have to say. Whether you're in the broadcast or you're in the live chat, I want to hear what you have to say. And it's not about 50,000 people on Facebook telling me what they want to say or 100,000 people on YouTube telling me what they want to say. It's, I want to hear what you have to say. I have done broadcasts on Facebook that are now probably still on YouTube where I was the only one here for 3 hours. The equivalent of being the professor yelling at a college class why you should be here. I don't want to do that anymore. I do the broadcast because I enjoy doing the broadcast. If you don't like what I say, why do you watch? Period. If you like what I say, I hope you watch and I hope you share it. But if you don't like it and you don't tell me why you don't like it, there's nothing I can do about it. Because I don't know what you don't like. It's the perfect radio broadcast. It's one-sided and I don't know what you like or don't like. So I can't work on it. So I just do it the way I do it, the way I like it, the way I know how. I brush my hair, brush my beard, sometimes change my shirt, clean my glasses, make sure I got a fresh cup of coffee, and I do it. Sometimes I talk about coffee. Got the idea for the salute at the beginning from watching Scott Adams. Take a swig of coffee and then get into it. Sometimes I take an extra swig, but that's because I like coffee. Or I like whatever I put in the cup. It's not always coffee. Some days it's water. Some days it's Gatorade. Some days it's Coke. Some days it's Pepsi. Some days it's different types of coffee. I don't know. You know? But anyway, if you didn't like today's Boogie with the Bull, make a comment why you didn't like it and give the broadcast a thumbs down. I probably won't see it because, like I said, I don't watch them again. And it's not because I don't want to read your comment. I just don't watch them again. It's old news. It was yesterday. It may be new news today, and I may bring it up again, but it's old news. I just don't watch it. And I tell people, actually, I started telling people in the beginning, message me and tell me why you didn't like it, because I do read Messenger. And you can still do that. You can message me on Messenger. You can message me at Boogie with the Bull at gmail.com. Let's see if I can do it today. BOOGIEWITHTHEBULL at gmail.com. No spaces in Boogie with the Bull at gmail.com. Or you can go to Dave Glovin on Facebook Messenger and tell me that anything about a broadcast. I was going to go and set up WhatsApp because someone I know is on WhatsApp, but I really didn't like it. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. You can go to Instagram and Threads where I'm Boogie WT Bull or Dave Glovin. Neither one has a space. And you can always tell me what you think when you see me make a comment or ask me to make a comment, and I will. You can go to X, where I'm Boogie WT Bull or David Goldman, no spaces, and you can make a comment. And I don't pay much attention to Dave Goldman because I just don't on X, but maybe I should. But, you can always reach me. I'm always reachable. I make sure I'm reachable. Why? Because I want to hear what you have to say. That's why this whole thing was created. But anyway, it's a little bit more than an hour, and I think we've done enough today. So class is dismissed. Go make it a great day. Drink a lot of coffee. It will help. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying that. I want to thank William Lockett for making his comment that he's folding some laundry and listening to me. Please don't let anybody call me greatness, because I'm not. I'm just a 63-year-old guy who spouts off about whatever he's spouting off because I want to get it out of my head and be able to go on and do other things. And I don't want my head to be any bigger because I've held stuff in. I really don't. Don't want my health to suffer because I've held stuff in. Okay? No, I'm not great. Whether you know it or not, you're the welcome part of my morning. Thank you, William. I am glad that you got something out of the broadcast. But I'm really not great. And I'm really not doing anything that anyone in America can't do. Turn on your computer, sit in front of your camera, make sure you get a good shot, make sure the mic works, or you're happy with the sound of the mic on your device. And if you're not, use an external mic. I would be using an external mic right now, but I don't have a means of mounting the boom arm for my Blue Snowball mic. And I don't have enough room on my desk, if you can see it, to have the desk stand for it set up. because I either knock it over all the time or I just don't have room for it. But, and then you can either tell people that you're going to come on and be live or just come on and be live. And they'll be told that you're on live. And if they want to, they will come and watch. And if they don't, be happy with the ones that you reached. Because it only takes one person. It only takes one person. We'll catch you around, friend. I'll try and make it some other time so we can have a proper sit down. Yep. William, you're more than welcome anytime. Just come into the live chat, ask for a link, and I'll make sure you get the link. Or I'll do my best to make sure you get the link. There was a big episode with Restream about links. And I guess there was a guest link and there is a broadcast studio link, and they were different. And you're supposed to send the guest link to guests. Well, what they didn't tell me one day was that the studio link and the guest link are exactly the same. The only difference is that you need to save it like into your mouse and then go into Messenger and use Control V and send it anywhere, not copy it from your mouse. And if you do that, then it works, because that's what we're doing. But, my biggest problem with Restream is that it seems like you are always talking to an AI who doesn't know what they're talking about, and then they seem to all of a sudden send it back to me the way I told it to them. If I had the money, I'd own my own Restreamer. If I had the money, I would own my own social media network that makes less than $100 million a year. And I would make sure I beam myself into California. Because the people of California have a right to hear what I say, even if the government of California doesn't want people to hear what I say. At least the Democrat government of California might decide they don't want you to hear what I say in California. But it should work two ways. I shouldn't have to hear what they say. And the only way to make sure that happens is to be able to block them. And I don't want to block anybody. I don't. I really don't. If you hate me, come on and tell me that you hate me. And I'll give you all the reasons why you should like me. And if you like me, I'll probably crawl under the table because, like I said, I'm not doing anything any different than anybody else. You can do this. I'll even work with you and show you how to do it. But anyway, it's been an hour and 15 minutes, so it's probably time to go. So we'll go down here. Double V's for victory. This Boogie with the bull